Okay, so my section that I had laws with school-age deaf children. So it talked about Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. So this act protects deaf children and youth as it applies to school systems and public or private school educational agencies that receive financial assistance, including free lunch programs. So there were many cases that hit the courts about deaf students and their struggles in the school. And one that I thought was really interesting was Hendrick Hudson Central District versus Rowley. So Rowley was a deaf white student who was mainstreamed and was denied an interpreter because she was succeeding in school. They said because she was getting the basic of education, she should not need an interpreter, when really she needs full access to communication and language throughout the school day. They wanted her to exceed in school, not just know the basics. So to resolve the problems for students with FAPE and LRE, they added special requirements to IDEA. And then the IEP team is required to consider the deaf child's language and communication needs. They must provide opportunities for direct instruction by the teachers and communication with peers and professional personnel in their child's preferred language and communication mode. Next, we have Every Student Succeeds Act. So then this replaced the No Child Left Behind Act, which was an unpopular law that required states to set up strict testing accountability systems. The goal was that every student was to ensure they would be reading and performing math on grade level by 2014. The Every Student Succeeds Act gives more flexibility in determining academic standards, annual testing, and school accountability. It also takes in consideration students from economical disadvantaged homes, students of color, students in special education, and those who do not have fully access to English language skills. And it also requires states to follow parents, or to allow parents to get involved in the accountability process for schools. And then next I had laws in foster care placements. So foster care placements also fall under IDEA ADA in Section 504. So they talked about how children often struggle with abuse because they do not have language skills to report the offense to authorities, and this is what can really result in some children being removed from the biological homes and sent to foster homes, which under ADA they are required foster homes to provide communication and language access for deaf children. And then because foster homes receive federal funds, they our Section 504 applies. And then so this section had lots of different stories, and so one of the stories was a 16-year-old white deaf girl. She talks about how she was physically abused and neglected by her father. She was struggled with bipolar disorder and depression, along with no one in her home was signing, so she had to get used to gestures to communicate. She was literate and was at a reading level of 2.8. She was then placed into foster care, but still no one signed. She was and she would have outbursts, which resulted in her being sent to a residential treatment center. And under IDEA, she was not receiving FAPE and LRE in the classroom, and other deaf youth were sent to a new facility, a facility that had professionals to help her succeed. And since the facility receives federal funds, it is under Title II of ADA applies, along with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. And that's all we have.